Hello, Sean Maurer here. Love and Division, which one of these days I'm going to make a video explaining really, as much as I can what that means and what it's all about. But I want to talk about Belarus and the color revolution that's that's been inflicted upon them because they didn't lock down. Now that's how it works. And I'm going to show you the different evidences and so forth. But first, I wanted to look. I think it'd be kind of fun to make a contrast between life in Belarus and life in the United States in terms of freedom. Okay, and this would be a good contrast. Okay, so here we're going to play a little clip here, a short clip of a traveler who's in Belarus, May 9th. Okay, it's during pretty much right sort of in the smack dab middle of the whole fake pandemic in the United States, and it's only gotten worse in the United States, and it's only gotten better in Belarus, except for the fact that the allies, so to speak, are trying to overthrow the leader there, because the bankers who own and operate the world don't like the fact that here was a nation that didn't play ball when they said everybody must lock down and everybody must cooperate with the fake pandemic agenda.
Oh, check out these guys I've met on the bench going to the parade.
Yeah. Hello, England.
Nice one. See, people are so friendly here on parade day. These are the people going to the parade. Look at everyone going to the parade, all dressed up. Everyone's in their nice outfits, and there's me in my old grey tracky.
So, there's a little bit of an idea of hey, it's normal life back there. I'll play a little bit. I'm going to play another one. There's another good one I had here of people enjoying life in Belarus. There's another one beginning of May, when things were so
in a situation
deadly
like
here.
This, it shouldn't be taken lightly. However, the cure shouldn't kill the patient, and some businesses should remain open. And in Belarus's case, I think it's actually adopting a sensible approach. Hanonski, street food, Chinese street food, everything. Food halls, it's open. So there you go, guys. Restaurant. Hanonski.
I want to see where he's going upstairs to show you
And
this.
in Belarus's case, I think it's actually adopting a sensible approach. So yeah, can buy Asian restaurant. Awesome. Hanonski. Street food, Chinese street food, everything. Food halls, it's open.
So there you go. Okay, that's Belarus. Okay, during the height of when we were supposed to be so afraid. Now, so what's happening in the United States? Okay, so I've just, let's just look at a couple things. This is what's going on now, right? I mean, this was supposed to be a 2-week lockdown back in March or whatever. Okay, so I'm not going to play all these videos or anything. I'm just going to show you. This is some of the stuff that's coming up, like on my radar. Here's one that's like Speakeasy, 100 years later, masks, not booze. Okay, so here the police are going in and looking through the back door and making sure people are wearing masks and social distancing. This is the United States. This is the country that's free, and we're supposed to be so upset about Belarus. They're the country that's not free. I mean, who's really not free? Look at this one. Tased and arrested for not wearing a mask. Officer tases a mom for not wearing a mask at a junior high school football game. United States. This is right now. Here's another one. 3 church members arrested for outdoor work without masks. United States, the land of the free, and we're supposed to be, we're supposed to think, oh, wow, Belarus, we've got to get rid of that dictator. So it was so evil. We just saw what life was like there compared to here. Now I want to get into this. Okay. I played this before, I put this on my Facebook and so forth, but this is really what's going on. This is why there's now a color revolution in Belarus.
It has nothing to do with finance and control. I thought that article might give you a little something to chew upon. You guys are amazing, and I will see you in the next.
Okay,
and welcome back to another episode. In this one, I want to talk to you about Belarus and COVID-19, and you might wonder why those two go together. And it's because I want to point out that not all governments are corrupt and not all governments are in on the scam. Scam. So not all governments are in on the scam. Sorry about that. So this is an article in Belter that was sent to me. Belarus president unwilling to accept additional terms to get foreign loans. Minsk, 19th of June. Additional conditions which do not apply to the financial part are unacceptable for Belarus, Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko said when speaking about external lending during a meeting to discuss support measures for the real economic sector on the part of the banking system, Belter has learned. Alexander Lukashenko asked the participants of the meeting how things were with the provision of foreign credit assistance to Belarus. What are our partners' requirements? It was announced that they can provide Belarus with $940 million in so-called rapid financing. How are things here? The head of state inquired. At the same time, he stressed that the additional conditions which do not apply to the financial parts are unacceptable for the country. We hear demands, for example, to model our coronavirus response on that of Italy. I do not want to see the Italian situation to repeat in Belarus. We have our own country and our own situation, the president said. Now this next bit's really interesting. Why is finance being used to decide a response to a so-called health crisis? Right? Because it's never been about a health crisis. Anyway, the final paragraph. According to the president, the World Bank has shown interest in Belarus's coronavirus response practices. It is ready to fund us 10 times more than it offered initially as a token of commendation for our efficient fight against the virus. The World Bank has even asked the healthcare ministry to share the experience. Meanwhile, the IMF continues to demand from us quarantine measures, isolation, a curfew. This is nonsense. We will not dance to anyone's tune, said the president. So if any of you are still sat there thinking that this has to do with health and has nothing to do with finance and control, I thought that article might give you a little something to chew upon. You guys are amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, so there we go. All right, now, it's interesting. If you look at the, mainstream news, that this stuff there, because there's other people here putting up videos, the mainstream, they're trying to get you. Here's one over here. Let me see, I'll bring it over. Transgender agenda. Okay, look at this. Okay, so, yeah. So, right, like, okay, so now this is what they want, transgender and all this. This is Bolshevikian crap. Trying to make it look like, this is really... So, look, my point is, right now, Belarus is free, and America is not. Belarus is the free country. That's what I'm thinking about moving. I would, if provided this color revolution doesn't succeed, and the Belarusians, remain free, But this is what happens. If you haven't read John Perkins' Confessions of an Economic Hitman, this is exactly out of the playbook. This is Bolshevik playbook. You offer the leader monies, and if he doesn't take the offer for the monies, then you try to start a color revolution. You get a bunch of people over there, as many people as you can, get them upset, and blah blah blah. Start and try to start trouble. And basically, that's what they're doing. They're trying to start trouble. So, this is this is like for Americans to talk about him, but they're not free over there. I mean, they're a lot more free than we are. I mean, look at what's happening here. This is these people being arrested and so forth for not wearing masks, and over there they're free to I mean, they can wear a mask if they want. They don't have to. It's free. You can see people are rubbing elbows and having a good old time, being real humans, and they're not dehumanized like we are over here. So maybe I'll show you a couple of Alexander Lusenko's response to these false accusations. So the people there making, pretty much making false, the protesters that are getting hired, it's like Black Lives Matter kind of thing, where they're, and the Antifa. It's the Antifa type of protesters, and they let them loose now in Belarus because they wouldn't play along with this fake pandemic. That's how important the fake pandemic is to you. So here's some of the things that the president is coming back at the protesters.
И хочет уйти. Никто никого не будет гнобить, никто не будет никого давить. Пожалуйста, с завтрашнего дня или сегодняшнего ворота открыты. Извините за мою непопулярную эту фразу.
See, so, he's iron-fisted and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Here's the thing. Here's one of the things you got to remember. And I'm trying to get people exposed to this too. Like that last video I was making about, you just don't repeat. People just repeat lines, this thing, Hitler said, the bigger the lie. Well, no, Hitler wasn't saying that. That wasn't his policy. He was saying this is the policy of his enemies, telling the big lies. Fascists, if you look at the history, look at World War II. Look at the fascists. Look at what they did for the people. How the fascists used brute force to make life better for the average person, the good people. And the Marxists used brute force to benefit an evil handful of, control freaks and perverts and so forth like that. And the Marxists used the brute force to persecute the good, traditional type of people. And that's the difference between fascism and Marxism. And this is one I'm going to do a video about this next too, and pick apart some of David Icke's rantings, because as much as I like David Icke and he's a champion, he's a real champion of the fake pandemic and so forth, he's a typical example of somebody who just repeats something that they've repeated all their lives and never a way to stop and think about. So I want to investigate that a little bit next. So thanks for watching, and this is one of my shorter videos. Remember, if I get kicked off of YouTube, you go to LBRY. I'm going to be putting everything up. Because what happens if they take it down on YouTube, it gets taken down there, and so if I put it up on YouTube, so I got to, I'll repost it on LBRY. Right now, that's my main home. So I just want to let everybody know that's where I am before I get kicked off.